My name is Nathan. I work at Oak Ridge Montessori to be exact. It's a small private school with just a few tiny classrooms for children, tucked away beneath the lower level of an old chapel at the edge of town. Every night, it's my job to clean those classrooms once the kids and teachers have gone home. There are only 3 rooms, so it usually takes me around 2 hours to finish. But since I also work the closing shift at the grocery store nearby, I usually don't arrive at the school until around 10:30 p.m. Another thing you should know, Oak Ridge shares its parking lot with an elderly care home just across from the chapel. I'll admit, weird things happen there sometimes. The building creaks, lights flicker, you hear footsteps in empty hallways. I always told myself it was just the age of the place. But that night, the night with the old woman, was different. It started like any other night. I finished cleaning the second classroom and rolled my cart of supplies into the hallway, heading toward the third. I remember checking my watch, 11:45 p.m. I was a little behind schedule, so I was rushing. And that's when I heard it. The doorbell. It echoed through the chapel above me, loud, sudden, and sharp. Nobody ever comes to Oak Ridge that late, and definitely not during my shift. I froze in the hallway, the echo of the chapel's doorbell still ringing in my ears. My cleaning cart creaked slightly as I stopped pushing it. The sound wasn't supposed to happen, especially not this late, especially not when I was supposed to be alone. Taking a deep breath, I walked up the stairs toward the chapel's front doors. Oak Ridge's old wood and stone architecture made every step sound louder than it needed to. I tried to be quiet, listening for any more noises above. The entrance doors had large tinted glass panels, making it hard to see clearly outside. I approached slowly, peeking around the frame, trying not to be seen. There was someone standing outside. An old woman. She stood perfectly still in the dark, illuminated faintly by the dim parking lot lamp behind her. Her white hair hung in thin strands past her shoulders, and she looked lost. I stepped back before she could spot me. My heart raced. Visitors were never supposed to come at this hour, and certainly not someone from the care home next door. I didn't open the door. I told myself maybe she wandered off and someone from the home would come looking for her. That made sense, right? Trying to calm myself, I went back downstairs to finish the last classroom. But my hands were shaking as I gripped the mop. My ears stayed alert for any sound, any sign she was still out there. A few minutes passed, in tense silence. Then, bang! 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 The sound exploded through the hallway above me. I jumped, heart slamming against my ribs. The old wooden door rattled under the force of her knocks, followed by a voice, thin, crackled, pleading. "Let me in! Please! It's cold!" I crept halfway up the stairs again, cautiously peering toward the door. The woman was gone from the glass. The knocking had stopped. But then, another sound, right beside the staircase window. I turned, and there she was, pressed against the glass just a few feet away. Her wide, cloudy eyes locked onto mine. Her voice was sharper now, urgent. "Please, help me." I stumbled backward down the stairs, nearly falling. My mind screamed for me to get away, to lock myself in, to call someone, anyone. But I'd left my phone in the cleaning cart, and the chapel felt like it was holding its breath. I sprinted down the last few steps and yanked open the nearest classroom door. It was room 3, small with dim emergency lighting casting long shadows across the art projects still taped to the walls. I slammed the door shut behind me and locked it. My breath came in ragged bursts. I grabbed my phone from the cart and dialed the number for the assisted living center across the parking lot. My fingers trembled with each press. A woman answered. "Hi, this is Nathan. I work in the classrooms below the chapel. There's an elderly woman outside. I think she might have wandered off. She's banging on the windows and trying to get in." There was a pause on the other end. Then the woman said, "Everyone's accounted for tonight. We've had no one leave. Our doors lock automatically and residents have to check out." I swallowed hard. Could someone have slipped out somehow? "She's here. I saw her." The woman promised to call building security to double-check and asked me to stay on the line. And that's when the sound started again. Tap, tap, tap. This time from the classroom window, not the front door. She had moved. The window was small, set high into the wall, but I could see her eyes just over the edge of the glass. She was taller now, or standing on something. Her hands were pressed flat against the window, pale and shaking. "Nathan." My name. She said my name. I froze. I never told her my name. How could she know? The woman on the phone was still speaking, asking if the figure matched a certain description. I barely heard her. "Nathan, let me in. It's so cold. Please." I felt something deep in my gut twist. Fear, yes, but something else too, like recognition, like this wasn't her first time here. And then, just as suddenly as it started, she was gone. No sound, no shadow at the window. I stood frozen, still clutching the phone, staring at the empty glass. And for the first time since I'd started working here, I felt like I wasn't alone. I stayed locked in room 3 for what felt like forever. The woman on the phone, her voice now low, uncertain, finally spoke again. "Nathan, listen carefully. I just spoke with security. They did a full sweep. No one is missing from the care home. No one's even left the building." I stared at the window, still blank and dark. No trace of her left behind. "But she was right there," I whispered. "She knew my name." There was silence on the line. Then, "Nathan, did she say anything else? Anything strange? She kept calling for someone. Earlier, but not me. I think she was saying a name." I stopped. I couldn't remember it. I tried, reaching back to the moment she was pounding on the chapel doors. I remembered her voice, the desperation, the repetition, but not the name. My blood ran cold. How could I forget that? It was only minutes ago. The woman on the line seemed to sense it too. "That's okay," she said gently. "You're probably just shaken up, but please, stay inside and don't engage with her if you see her again." And then she added something strange. "Do not say her name." That chilled me more than anything else. Before I could ask what she meant, the line went dead. No click, no tone, just nothing. I lowered the phone slowly. My eyes were drawn back to the window, still empty, still silent. But I could feel it. Something was still out there, watching and waiting. I stayed in room 3 for another 15 minutes, maybe more. Every creak of the old wooden floors above sent a jolt through my spine. The classroom was dark now, only the emergency light over the door still faintly glowed. I sat in the corner, trying to keep my breathing steady. I was going to wait it out until morning. No more investigating, no more windows. But I made the mistake of glancing toward the glass again. At first there was nothing. Then I saw it, a shape, in the window, not standing, not moving, but crouching, like someone trying to hide but still watching me, their face pressed close to the glass, pale, motionless. I scrambled back, heart pounding. I didn't scream. I didn't want to give it a reason to move. It didn't blink. It didn't react. Just stared. And then slowly, it lifted one hand. Its fingers tapped once, twice, 3 times. Soft, measured. Like a knock. But not on the door, on the glass. I shut my eyes. When I opened them again, it was gone, but the tap marks remained. 3 faint, foggy ovals, like breath pressed against the window pane. She'd been watching the whole time, and she wanted me to know. I finally pulled my phone out again. My hands were trembling as I dialed the number for the elderly care home across the lot. A woman picked up on the second ring. "Hi, sorry, it's Nathan. I work night shifts at Oak Ridge, and I think someone from your facility may be outside." She sounded confused. "Who exactly?" I hesitated. "An old woman, long gray hair, pale face. She was yelling earlier. I think she might be lost." There was a pause on the line. Then, quietly, "There's no one missing." I swallowed hard. "Could you check again? She's been staring at me through the windows. It's unsettling." The woman's voice grew quieter. "Are you alone in the building right now?" "Yes." Another pause. Then, "Please stay on the line. I'm going to get someone from security to check outside." I waited, pacing the back of the classroom. My eyes flicked to the window, then away. The line stayed quiet for nearly a minute. Then the woman came back. "Security's outside. There's no one there." I stopped moving. "No one?" I whispered. "Not a soul." I looked back at the window. The tap marks were still there. I stayed on the line with the woman from the care home, even though she sounded just as disturbed as I felt. "I don't know what's going on," I whispered, "but I swear she was here." "I believe you," she said quietly. "Just don't open any doors. We'll notify the police to do a welfare check." I thanked her and ended the call, my fingers still trembling. The building had gone quiet again, too quiet. I crept toward the hallway door and peeked out. The corridor was empty, lit only by dim emergency bulbs humming faintly overhead. I held my breath as I stepped out. Then I heard it. A creak. From upstairs, the chapel. My heart nearly stopped. I wasn't alone. I knew I wasn't. Slowly, I moved to the bottom of the staircase that led to the chapel entrance. The wooden steps groaned under some invisible weight above me. Then, a face, peering from the top of the stairs. Pale, thin, eyes wide open. Lifeless, but staring directly at me. The same woman. But now she was inside. I stumbled backward, nearly dropping my phone. And as I did, she smiled. I didn't wait. I turned and ran, straight into the nearest classroom. My hands fumbled at the lock, finally clicking it into place. My breath came in short, terrified gasps as I backed away from the door, clutching a small broom I'd left leaning in the corner. Silence. Then, soft footsteps in the hallway, slow, measured, deliberate. She was inside the school now. That much was clear. I crouched behind a desk, trying to keep myself calm. The small windows near the ceiling let in just enough moonlight to see shadows moving outside the classroom door. And then, a gentle knock. 1, 2, 3 times. I held my breath. Then her voice, barely above a whisper, floated through the door. "Nathan." My name. My blood turned cold. I hadn't told her my name. No one had. The doorknob jiggled. Once, twice, then stopped. I waited. And waited. Then the knock came again, only this time, it came from the window behind me. I froze. My body refused to move as I turned slowly toward the window behind me. And there she was, the old woman. Her face was pressed against the glass, her eyes wide open, milky white in the dark. Her mouth didn't move, but I could still hear her whisper inside my head, like her voice didn't need air to speak. "Nathan, let me in." Her hair clung to the glass, wet from the night air, as if she had been out there for hours, just waiting. I stumbled backward, knocking over a chair. The sound echoed too loudly, and in that instant, her eyes blinked. The first time I had seen her blink. She lifted one hand and pressed her palm flat against the window pane. Then, crack. A small fracture bloomed beneath her hand. The glass was starting to break. I grabbed my phone. No signal. Of course. I turned to the door, still locked. The hallway outside looked empty, but I didn't trust it. The old woman pressed harder. The crack widened. That window wouldn't hold much longer. I had to move. Now.